Hey, mean Matt here, and it's been a while since we've been able to do this, but we have a special guest back with us, and Killer Kyle, and yes, we are back in business for Wheels of Fury, and well, here he is.
Yes, we are back. We're going to be getting back together and doing Backlash. I don't think they're calling it WrestleMania Backlash, they're just calling it Backlash. And yeah, was in the hospital for 2 weeks with pneumonia and getting that all taken care of, and I'm back and healthy, and we'll be back at it with Backlash. It's gonna be fun. It's been a while.
So yeah, stay tuned for Wheels of Fury. We have a lot of great episodes, starting with Backlash. It's gonna be fun. And yeah, I don't know what to expect. It's been a while, and yeah, very interested to do that. So, with that in mind, we're gonna, for the first time in a while, we're gonna do a little whiskey cheers for everyone, and hopefully you are watching this. It's gonna be a fun show. Yeah, Nostrovia. And here. That's good. Yeah, anyways. Yeah, here we go. Wheels of Fury, back in action. I'm Matt. This is Killer Kyle. And welcome to... Backlash is on Saturday.
Yes.
And before we get into it, because as you all know, the draft is back.
Yeah.
So a lot of it doesn't really make sense. I mean, they do this all the fucking time. The WWE seems to think that, oh, let's do a draft when we're right smack dab in the middle of a pay-per-view coming up. And it's almost like I don't understand why they do this, because they know that the winner of the match that's coming up for a belt can change hands or whatever. Like, it doesn't make sense when I say it, but
Like, what do you mean exactly?
well, so like, you know, Zelina Vega versus Rhea Ripley. Now, Rhea's going to Raw
Yes.
with the Judgment Day. So, and this isn't spoilers or anything, but let's just say Zelina Vega wins. It would make a lot of sense, because we might even have a repeat of the whole Charlotte Becky thing where they switched belts. That could happen too.
No, because okay, Rhea right now is a SmackDown Women's Champion,
Yes.
and yes, she got drafted to Raw. So there could be a very real possibility of maybe Rhea retaining the title.
Yeah.
And you got Bianca going to SmackDown,
Yes.
and she's the Raw Women's Champion, but like. See, I hope they don't do what they did with Charlotte and Becky, swap the titles, because that just wouldn't make any sense.
No.
And like, we can get a little bit more in depth in this with the
Yeah.
video, but like, make more sense to have Vega win the SmackDown Women's Championship, seeing as how she's going to SmackDown. And then maybe, I don't know, next week, Bianca has a match and loses the Raw Women's Championship to whoever the fuck.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too, because now you have call-ups from NXT. But not just any call-ups, because now you have, well, Indy Hartwell recently had to relinquish the NXT Women's title.
Yeah, you had Indy Hartwell go to Raw. You had Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. They're going to SmackDown, I believe. They're the women's tag team champions. Now, they did just yesterday, have a match with Cass and Carter.
Yeah.
And of course, they're going to Raw. So, well, I won't say anything if anybody hasn't seen it yet, but yeah.
No, and I mean, that's the thing, because you have Katana Chance and Chase Carter, who are now going to SmackDown, just like Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, who are the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions.
Right.
What?! Because, I mean, what I would have done is I would have had Alba Fire and Isla Dawn face two other women. But
Yeah.
that's the problem. Once again, there's not a lot of female tag teams in WWE or NXT. And that's a major problem, because they drop the titles on NXT and they go to Raw, they go to SmackDown, and then what? I mean, you have, well, actually, no, that team broke up. I was gonna say, you have, I can't remember their names. Anyways, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that it's almost like a clusterfuck, because both teams are from NXT. One team is the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, and now all of a sudden, they're, what's gonna happen? I just don't get it. And then you got the other thing too, where, I watch a lot of reviews, and people are like, well, the draft is just kind of bullshit, and it's gonna go right back to the way it was. And you know what? It's like, why the hell have the draft in the first place? Because, I mean, you've got free agents that could go to both Raw and SmackDown. Just watching a video, and they're having talk of Cedric Alexander going right back to NXT to challenge for the North American title. Okay, fine. But once again, I ask you, why is the draft a thing? And, on one hand, when they first started it, I was like, okay, you're giving a wrestler a day off. Like, they wrestle on Raw, they don't need to wrestle on SmackDown, vice versa.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna go free agent, then what's the point?
Simple. You have the draft. Whoever goes from Raw to SmackDown, SmackDown to Raw, and whoever goes from NXT to Raw or SmackDown, you have that, and then you have whoever's in free agency, they can go to Raw, go to SmackDown, and then at some point, either decide, hey, I want to be on Raw, I want to be on SmackDown, and then, they'll negotiate something. Like, I do see the point of, what's the point of free agency with the draft? Well, whoever doesn't get drafted, like, what are you going to do with them? Are you just going to leave them where they are? I mean, you could do that. But then, it's almost as if the draft is only for like half of the roster, let's say,
Yeah.
and not all the roster. And I mean, like, there are only a certain number of draft picks per Raw and SmackDown for, both nights. And then once that's done and over with, whoever you got left, it's like, well, let's give them an opportunity to show their talents on another brand. And then maybe decide, okay, do you want to, stay where you are? Do you want to swap brands? Whatever. I mean, I don't really know of any other way of doing it. I also think, the purpose of the draft, in my opinion, is like, you have this 2 years, let's say, or so, of superstars on Raw, SmackDown, and then at some point you go, okay, we have these people on both brands, and I'm sure they either are tired of the same thing over and over again, they want something new, so let's have a draft, whoever goes from SmackDown to Raw, Raw to SmackDown, gives them an opportunity for new challenges, new opponents, and whatever else.
Well, and that's the thing I think is cool, is that there are new challenges.
Yeah.
You have the Intercontinental Championship potentially going to Raw. You've got the, of course, United States Championship going to SmackDown.
Yes.
Which I think is cool. New challengers. The problem is that wrestlers that are on SmackDown might go to Raw.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So you'll still get the same champion potentially, maybe, just on a different brand. Whereas I think, you look at the Intercontinental title, you have a lot of people that can be Intercontinental Champion. Like, I mean, I can't think of anything offhand right now. I mean, LA Knight, well, he's going to SmackDown, so he could easily be United States Champion.
Yeah.
And then you have Pretty Deadly coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I honestly can't remember their names on NXT. Did that change? Elton and,
I don't think it has, no.
Oh, okay.
And see, so we were talking about Spring Breakin'.
Yes.
And how, they had the match with Tony D'Angelo and Stax. They lost, and then, they got dumped in nearby lake or whatever, like the old school, mafia movies.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, maybe that was a prelude to Pretty Deadly being drafted. Now, that's not saying there is a guarantee that Pretty Deadly were being drafted. When you think about it, that happening, then Pretty Deadly has them drafted to Raw, makes sense.
Right.
I mean, it's not foreshadowing, but like foreseeing the future.
Yes.
Kind of, even though they didn't know that they would be drafted.
Yeah, that is true.
That's just like I saw something, was it WrestleMania? And how their match on Raw, Street Profits, were wearing blue tracksuits, and then they ended up getting drafted to SmackDown. I was like, did they know ahead of time that they were being drafted to SmackDown? Because, Street Profits drafted to SmackDown, as well as Bianca.
Yes.
Of course, they're not going to split up Montez and Bianca.
No.
So, I mean, did they know ahead of time that they would probably go to SmackDown? Possibly, but even if it was just a coincidence that, they wore blue that night, and then, end up getting drafted to SmackDown, maybe.
Yeah.
That's just like, Miz is on Raw, and it's like, well, yeah, he's got to stay on Raw because of Miz and Mrs.
That's right, yeah.
So, but anyways.
Well, that's something to get off our chest. So, regular scheduled programming. This is Wheels of Fury, and we are going to talk about, obviously, Backlash in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. I believe this is WWE's first excursion to Puerto Rico, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. Well, I mean, for a pay-per-view, yeah.
For a pay-per-view, yes, of course.
And I think it's cool because now you're entering right back to where it used to be, back in, like, the 90s. Right, the mid-90s, 80s, whatever the fuck. Now you have pay-per-views or premium live events that are now gonna be outside of Canada and the United States of America. So
Yeah.
you got Puerto Rico, you have the rest of South America, or you can go to China, Japan, Mexico, England,
Yeah.
Use that market and just expand your horizons, if you will.
Yeah.
Because I remember, and that was my first pay-per-view, was SummerSlam 92 in Wembley Stadium. If you can do something like that, holy shit. And I know that AEW is going to be in Wembley in a while, but
Yeah.
if WWE could do something like that, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, only time will tell. They still
Yeah.
got the rest of this year and, the years to come.
Yeah. So anyways, let's get it on.
Well, before we start, actually, you had mentioned that you would wanted to have a little something special
Yeah.
for this, but unfortunately that didn't work out.
Yeah, I figured, you know what? Let's do something. Let's drink something that is sponsored by a premium live event or pay-per-view. Unfortunately, I didn't get any Mike's Hard or Lemonade, so it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been fun, drinking Mike's Hard Lemonade, talking about Backlash. It's too bad we didn't think of strolling over to the nearest convenience store. I'm sure I would have had it and get a couple of pitch blacks for the pitch black match
I did think about that too, actually, yeah.
the Rumble? No.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah!
Yeah! But anyways, that didn't work out, the match harder thing. Still doesn't mean we can't have a little drink, though. Can't have a drink.
It's not Wheels of Fury without some kind of liquor.
So I brought with me Crown Royal. There's not much left in the bottle, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yep. I know for the intro we used the rest of your Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
So,
Which is fine.
finish your whiskey and beer.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
That shows I got good grip strength. I had the cap in like the palm of my hand, and I'm holding the bottle, and it's like, man, that's a glass fucking bottle. The Lord wouldn't want to drop it. Anyways,
Yeah. Here's to the first episode in, fuck, I think it was March.
couple months, yeah.
A couple months. That was the fifth anniversary.
Yes.
Whatever, doesn't matter no more. Here's to you guys. And yeah, here's the Backlash in Puerto Rico.
See,
Salute.
salute.
Best of them right there. So we have this match. Well, it's gonna be a 6-man tag. We've got the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, and the Usos versus Matt Riddle and the tag team champions Kevin Steen or Kevin Owens, whatever, and Sami Zayn.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, at WrestleMania you have Kevin and Sammy finally get the tag team championships.
Yes.
It's one of those things where it's like, where do you go from here? Because
Right.
it was one big storyline, and then all of a sudden it kind of just was like, all right, that's cool. And but it's like, where do you go from here? I was hoping for the red and blue belts to disappear, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. And then, of course, they beat the Usos recently on SmackDown.
Yes.
So, this should be interesting. I mean, we saw somewhat of an alliance between Solo and Paul Heyman, whose hair dye is running out. And this should be an interesting match. I mean, and I don't know if I mentioned this to you or not. I might have. Solo Sikoa might become the new champion at some point.
The new, the Undisputed Champion.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
I mean, and that's the thing, too. I don't know. Because, yes, it would be interesting. Would it be too soon to push Solo? I mean, I would give him at least the Intercontinental Championship.
They give him the Intercontinental Championship to start.
Yeah,
And
or
then-
the United States title.
Or the US title, either one. And then, let him have a run with either title for, however long. And then maybe build him up to the Undisputed Championship. We've talked a few times about, not really, in depth a bunch, but the possibility of Solo and the Usos turning on Roman and Solo becoming the new leader and whatever else. And when you and I were watching the last half of SmackDown on Friday,
Yeah.
we were a little late. Didn't see all of it, whatever. And it was like, if Jimmy and Jay didn't regain the tag titles, then they would be, excommunicated from the bloodline, let's say, sort of obscurity, they called it. And Sammy and Kev retain the titles. And it's like, well, that could be a build-up of, or the start of, that potentially happening. And of course, Roman, Paul, and Solo had already been drafted to SmackDown. And then that happened, like, oh, okay, let's see where this goes. And then, of course, Jimmy and Jay also got drafted to SmackDown as well. It's like, well, there goes that theory. Well, I mean, still could potentially happen, but meh, I don't. Not likely.
Well, and that's the thing, because you look at the new World Heavyweight title, which is like about fucking time.
Yeah.
And then you go, like Triple H said, Roman Reigns will be going to SmackDown, so that title's going to be for SmackDown.
Yes.
My only thing is it going to have one title instead of, once again, carrying a blue one and a black one.
Yeah.
Not that I think there was anything wrong with those titles to begin with. But then again, they had to fucking go and change it on WrestleMania 38. So,
Right.
we'll see what happens in the future. As for this match,
Right.
You know, having Matt Riddle coming back is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I had heard rumors that he was going to turn heel, but I don't know how that would be possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, like, what would they have him do?
Yeah. I mean, Riddle right now is just fun-loving, dorky, cheap kind of dorky, corny,
Yeah.
hippie-esque character. And it works. It's funny, it's entertaining, and you know, he can get in the ring. Like, he can be funny, but he can also get in the ring and get the job done.
Yeah.
And it's a good balance of the two. You have him heel, and it's like, I don't think I would buy him as a heel.
No, not anymore. I don't think that would be.
I mean, he has had his moments of being serious, but like, to be a heel, I don't see it. Not saying he can't do it, I don't. They'd have to work it in a way to make it believable.
Well, and that's the thing, right? I mean, when Rob Van Dam was a heel, nobody fucking bought it.
No.
So, yeah, as far as this match goes, I mean, look, I know that it's always tradition for the winner of the go home show to lose on the pay-per-view, but
Yeah.
I mean, it could go either way, and I mean, as much as the Bloodline have picking up a lot of losses lately, except for Roman, I think that it'll be interesting to see. You know what? I'm just gonna toss it up in the air. I don't know.
Yeah. Another thing about it too is like after this match, what's next?
Exactly.
Is it just, you know, the Bloodline goes to SmackDown, Riddle and Kevin and Sammy are on Raw, and that's that? Probably. So, I mean, it's almost as if whoever gets the win in this match is like, okay, they won. That's the end of it. That's the end of the rivalry, the feud, go their separate ways. That's it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a toss up. Really, like, yeah.
This is a long shot, but doesn't Solo remind you of Samoan Taz? It's like the borderline between Taz and his dad,
I've been noticing.
or Umaga.
I was just going to say, I've been noticing a lot more behavior and like an homage to Umaga. More so even than, you know, Rikishi. I mean, Taz, I guess. But a lot of things he is doing is very reminiscent of Umaga. Like the spike and, you know, going crazy.
Yeah.
And, you know, what all that. It's the little things, but it's still close reminiscent of Umaga.
Exactly.
This match, that honestly I have no idea why they're doing it. It came literally the fuck out of left field. But you're gonna have Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, and once again, I mean, Mr. Belvedere shows up on WWE TV. He's in Gorilla, makes his way. Apparently made a lot of changes. So, and honestly, I don't know if that was going to be the case or not. But it was going to be Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes teaming up against Roman Reigns and Solo.
Yeah.
Turns out that couldn't even get halfway through the intros, and Brock Lesnar German suplexes the shit out of Cody.
Yeah.
And then beats him up, and then the match just ends. It doesn't even start.
No, they didn't even start the match.
And it was like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, with Brock, who came out, and he was fun-loving. He was a different Brock we haven't seen before with the plaid and the cowboy hat. I mean, he still wears the cowboy hat. But there was really no reason for it. And it was almost like, are we taking the focus out of Cody not getting a championship now? Or being in the championship picture? Or what the hell? So, I mean, I don't think it's going to be terrible. I mean, yeah, it could be worse. And, I mean, Cody says he's going to win. Honestly, if Cody wins, it wouldn't be a bad thing, but at the same time, it's almost like I can't see him get past Brock.
Yeah, not likely.
So, unfortunately, and I don't want to say this, but Brock Lesnar.
I have a feeling it's going to be Brock, too. I mean, it would be a hell of a feat for Cody to get past Brock. Could he do it? Potentially. Will he? Not likely.
If the guy can wrestle with a torn pec,
Oh, fuck yeah.
then, I mean, he can go through the beast, no problem. I mean, fucking Seth Rollins could, then so could he. We have the SmackDown Women's title. Once again, we talked about this at the beginning of the video. We have Rhea Ripley, who will take on Zelina Vega.
And here is the interesting thing. So you have Rhea win the title at Mania. And then, you know, Monday she gets drafted to Raw. So it's like she's only held the title not even a month. Well, actually, I guess it's technically been a month. Because, you know, Monday would have been a month. 1st of May.
Yeah.
Won the title the 1st of April. And then you go, you know, get drafted to Raw, and it's like, okay. So, you are going to have her win the title, finally get her due,
Yeah.
win the title, and then potentially lose it to Vega, is going to SmackDown with the LWO. And I mean, like, Rhea could easily become Raw Women's Champion. No question in my mind, no doubt about it. With her already having the SmackDown Women's Championship, to lose it so soon,
Yeah.
is like, ooh, that's rough. Well, much like we were talking about Indy Hartwell.
Yeah.
She is going to Raw. She won the title at Stand and Deliver.
Yep.
So she had the title, and she defended it at Spring Break-In,
Yes.
and, you know, got her, twisted her ankle, whatever the hell it was. She's in a walking boot right now.
Yeah.
And then, you know, yesterday, give up the NXT Women's Championship because she's going to Raw, which, you know, I mean, you could have had her in a match and lose the title, whatever. And like, she only had the title, like, basically a month.
Yeah.
Was like, I think the shortest title reign of that championship.
Yeah.
But
Well, and that's the sad part too. Is
Yeah.
that it's one thing to win a championship and you have to you defend it the next month and then you lose it. So that sucks. But
Yeah.
to get an injury and then have to relinquish it is even worse. You know.
Yeah.
And I oftentimes called it the Roddy Piper treatment. But there's been other wrestlers that have won a title 1 month and then lost it the next, so
yeah,
I just think that Indy will get another chance at a women's title
Oh, yeah.
in WWE.
for sure.
I'm just not quite sure when, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
You know. So there's that. you know, and look, this has nothing to do with Zelina Vega's heritage. I mean, yeah, she's Puerto Rican descent.
Right.
Cool. But the fact is that no matter how you put it, she's still an American.
Oh, yeah.
So, that doesn't necessarily mean shit. But, I mean, you can look at it both ways. You can look at it, okay, Zelina Vega just went to SmackDown with the LWO.
Right.
You have Rhea, who's going to go to Raw.
Yeah.
So, it's really hard to pick, right? I mean, I would say Zelina. I really think, despite the fact that she looks like a 12-year-old, I think that she could possibly do it. But you can't just have Rhea Ripley win at WrestleMania and then have her lose it in a matter of a month or whatever. To me, it doesn't make sense. So, that being said, fuck. I mean, you know what, for shits and giggles, I'm just gonna say Zelina. Because I do not want to see this whole thing where you got two of the women's champions on Raw or whatever, and they have to switch belts. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, and I, like with Triple H in church, I don't see them doing that. I honestly don't.
No.
I was thinking Vega myself.
Because
well.
you look at somebody like Alexa Bliss, and I know a lot of people had doubts. Hell, guess what? Big shock, I had doubts too when she came to the main roster.
Right.
I was like, this Gargano's gonna be a wrestler. But,
Gargano.
you know what? Zelina can actually do it. And
Oh,
look,
fuck yeah.
she has that, and I mentioned that in one of my Backlash paper reviews, is that she has that mentality of leader.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she's a valet, but she still interferes, and she's one hell of a wrestler.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
She did it with Andrade, she did it with the LWO, and we'll see what happens with that. That being said, though, I don't know who could challenge Zelina.
So then we go on to this match. Oh god, this is gonna be a shit show, I can tell you already. Seth frickin' Rollins versus the Nigerian giant Omos.
I can pick the easy way out and say Omos. I mean, this is easily the exhibition match.
I guess.
You know, you just, for shits and giggles, you're gonna slap two wrestlers together just to put on a match. There's no real history. There's no reason why they're going at it.
No.
I mean, I get it. You know, Omos is an attraction. He's the modern day Andre the Giant, if you will.
Yeah.
There was a point where they called Seth Rollins the Beast Slayer.
Yeah.
Could
Beast Slayer or King Slayer?
Well, yeah, either way.
Yeah.
Could he be a Giant Slayer? I don't know.
Yeah.
With MVP as well, and it's like Seth doesn't really have a chance. Like, if he could do it, good.
Yeah.
I highly doubt it, though.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna state the obvious. And it's nothing to take away from Seth, it's just, you just put two people together that don't match well.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, when you look at Omos and Lashley, that worked. When you look at Omos and Lesnar, that worked.
You look at Omos and Strowman.
Yes,
worked.
that even worked.
This, it's just so
polar opposite.
Yeah, I just can't see it. And I like Seth. I just think he's a charismatic wrestler.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just don't see it.
Like, he's charismatic, he can fucking go in the ring. But against a guy like Omos,
Yeah.
God help you.
So we have the United States Championship match.
Yes.
You've got Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley. And this is an interesting one. Bronson Reed.
Now, you had asked me about what I think of this new look, I guess, if you will, of Braxton's him in a suit.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's basically in the get stuff. That's no different than Carmella and like the most beautiful woman in all of WWE. Or what they were doing with Liv Morgan when she was the only one left at the Riot Squad, if you will, before they fucked that up the ass, and her in the tub and, you know, whatever. It, like, okay, he looks good, but, like, that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's for looks, and I'm sure he probably talks about what he can do in the ring, hurt people, squash people, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, too. When he left, and then he went elsewhere, he returned to Jonah, and he became a part of New Japan and Impact Wrestling.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I'm glad they mentioned.
Yes.
They don't mention Impact, but
Well, no.
still. So then he comes back to WWE, and you gotta credit Paul Levesque for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he saw that. I was talking to somebody recently, he doesn't like the fact that Triple H is in charge because he's bringing all his NXT buddies in. And it's almost like you gotta get with the times. You still have guys that are 6 foot. You still got guys that are chiseled
Yeah.
out of stone. But you gotta think of the fact that these are different times. You gotta have wrestlers that are more charismatic.
Yeah.
They're more out there. And it's one thing to have guys doing this, but you gotta have guys that can have a personality.
Oh, absolutely. And is it Triple H bringing back his NXT buddies? To a certain degree, yes. But he's also responsible for bringing back Strowman. Who else? Is like not from NXT that he brought back.
Well, he brought back LA Knight.
Well, yeah.
And Bray Wyatt came back for a while, and then
Wyatt, yeah.
he got injured.
Yeah.
But
So, anyway, yeah, he's, rehired as people from NXT, but he's also brought back other people. It was a mix.
yeah,
Not just, straight NXT guys. I mean, and it's also the fact that he gave people a chance, or a second chance, that deserved it.
well, yeah. I mean, that's what happened. They got fired. They got laid off for no reason.
Yeah.
And it made no goddamn sense. So a lot of them came back. Now, I mean, Drake Maverick isn't there no more.
Yeah.
EC3 is elsewhere.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, I mean, it's almost like, I'm happy with the way things are now. I mean,
Yeah.
Vince is back. There's a lot of talk about him ruining the company again, but for now, I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
But, I mean, this match is going to be good.
Yeah.
Honestly, look, either Theory retains or give the belt to Jonah. Because I don't want to see Bobby as the U.S. champion again. I'm getting real sick of that shit.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Either Theory retains or put the title on Bronson.
I mean, you look at Bronson Reed, and here's a guy that has it. I look at him, and I could see a wrestler from the '90s.
Yeah.
He has that quality. Just the way he jumps off the top rope.
Oh yeah.
He looks at the camera as he's pinning his opponent.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying not everyone else does it, but
No, but it's what makes him stand out.
yeah,
Yeah. You know, there's been several wrestlers that have had their own thing that made them stand out.
I mean, look, Jonah or Bronson Reed or whatever, as the United States champion, is gonna be unstoppable.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
don't know how long he would be that champion for, but
Yeah.
he can definitely pull it off for a few months.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know Austin has been a good champion.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, at his age, he's done a lot of cool shit. I just need to see him do more. And he's been the United States champion. Okay, what else could you do? It's not time for him to be the WWE champion or
No.
the world champion or whatever, but let's do something else with him.
I feel like Vince taking a step back, and he said he was retiring, and and left for a little bit, is what really helped boost Theory's career. Because
Yeah, I agree with that.
where he was, being Vince's chosen one, I mean, yeah, he was having matches, and yeah, he was winning, but it wasn't going anywhere. He was basically Vince's lapdog, so to speak.
Yeah.
Once Vince left, that's when, his career, Theory, went from here to here, and then, ends up winning the U.S. title, and, taking off from there. I mean, that's not to say he couldn't have been a champion, under the tutelage of Vince. It just, with Vince, it would have taken longer
Yeah.
than it did. Not to say that it happened too quickly, it just happened quicker than it would have had they just kept that whole storyline going. Which, by the way, was fucking dumb.
Yeah. And I said this before, I'll say it again. The go home show before WrestleMania, before facing John Cena, whose back of the head looks like the map of Africa, was brilliant.
Yeah.
And I think that if you do more of that stuff with Austin Theory, imagine where you can go.
Yeah. So now we go to a match for the Raw Women's Championship. You got Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. And everything we said about the SmackDown Women's Championship applies here as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, you have a very good roster.
Yeah.
You've got fucking the Damage Control, you've got Bianca Belair, you've got Chelsea Green. I don't know where Kamala is, unless she got injured.
Carmella right now is on mat leave.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes, Carmella is pregnant.
I forgot.
Her third attempt, because
Oh,
last year she tried twice and had a miscarriage.
Yeah.
So, quick congrats to her and Corey Graves.
Sonya Deville. There's a lot.
Oh yeah.
Trish Stratus is back, so
We'll see how that goes.
yeah. And that's the thing too. I thought about this earlier last, or well, I thought about this last night. So I mean, you have guys that have come back that are legends, so to speak.
Yeah.
To have a woman coming back for the first time, you don't see that too often. I mean, and we're not going to talk about Mae Young and Fabulous Moolah.
Yeah.
But Trish Stratus coming back, and I didn't know how it was going to work, but I think that it's going to be fine. I mean, she hasn't missed a step.
Oh God, no.
So, we'll see where that goes. I mean, this match is going to be cool. I liked Raw for the fact that it was bilingual.
Right.
But, I mean, you got Io Sky, Io Shirai, whatever, did a very good job at NXT.
Yes.
Obviously had some legendary matches, including the War Games matches.
Oh yeah.
And of course her time at Stardom.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. Now, if she wins the women's title, does that mean there's going to be a damage control breakup?
Maybe. I mean, Damage Control has done very well. I mean, Io and Dakota have already been women's tag team champions. So I think it is due time for the next step, which would be the Raw Women's Championship, if you will. Should Io be the first one? I mean, literally any one of those three could be easily be a very good champion.
I mean, I know Bailey's done it.
Oh yeah.
Dakota can definitely be a women's champion.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I would love to see Io go over. She'll be the second Japanese wrestler, well, female wrestler in any case, to be a women's champion.
Yeah.
So, that would be cool.
Right.
I'm still gonna say Bianca. And it's nothing against Io, it's just, I don't see it. I just don't see it. I mean, if she wasn't in a stable already, then I would be like, yeah, cool. But when I think about damage control, it's okay. Let me give you a scenario. D-Generation X. Would you see either of the New Age Outlaws as the WWF champion?
No.
So, I mean, that's kind of dumb, only because there's 3 of them, and then DX had, 5.
Right.
Like NWO. Okay, so you have Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall might not have really, although I think he didn't have the World Championship.
No.
So, I don't know. I mean, if Io wins, cool, but I'm gonna say Bianca. Bianca's gonna retain.
I'm gonna take Io for the same reasoning as Zelina, honestly.
Okay.
And then that leaves us fun, in my opinion.
Oh, yes. You have the San Juan street fight. You've got Damian Priest versus Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, you talk about celebrities coming in, celebrities, musicians. They come into the WWE. And actually watching Chris Van Vliet with Will Sasso. Will Sasso has said that if you're coming into the wrestling world, then you need to pay your dues.
Yeah.
You need to have your ass kicked in the majority of the match. And I think, yeah, and I respectfully disagree on the part of Logan Paul and Bad Bunny. Now, I know
Right.
you've had a lot of bad things to say in the past about Logan Paul, but the fact is those two guys are not only fans, but they have respect for the business, and they also work their ass off. You look at Bad Bunny pull off a destroyer
Yeah.
that can make Petey Williams blush. And Logan Paul, the guy is one of the best villains in the business. Now you look at Bad Bunny and Damien Priest, who were tag team partners 2 years ago, bobbing enough against Logan Paul and Miz.
Yeah.
This match is gonna be the best. And I'm not just saying that because I enjoy these matches. But Damien Priest is so fucking strong and powerful and can beat your ass in a minute. You got Bad Bunny who's quick on his feet and who knows what he could pull out.
Yeah, for sure.
So I hope they wrestle all over the arena.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna go outside or not. I mean, I don't. That hasn't happened in a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
I know Bad Bunny's from Puerto Rico, but I honestly think that Damien Priest is gonna demolish him. I don't want to see a run-in from the Judgment Day,
Yeah.
or the LWO for that matter.
Right. Probably gonna happen though.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if Bad Bunny wins, that would be pretty fucking cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But my money's gonna be on Priest.
I don't know who I want to take, honestly.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard pick because they're both unique styles.
Yeah. I'll take Bonnie just for the fuck of it.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
So,
Bing!
this has been another episode of Wheels of Fury. Glad to be back,
Hell yeah.
and it's gonna be a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
I mean, well, yeah.
Hell of a
would be
show.
Hell of a show. It's gonna be fun, and you're looking forward to it. Not long after that, though, you're gonna have Night of the Champions,
Yeah.
which we're gonna determine who, I guess, the new World Heavyweight title is gonna go to.
Yeah.
And then you got NXT Battleground.
Yes.
Double or Nothing's coming up too.
Yeah, Double or Nothing. Can't remember when that is.
I'll look it up. And for Impact, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Anyways, to all you guys out there, to my man Killer Kyle,
Hey,
Nostrovia.
Astrovia.
We will see you next time. Deuces.
Peace.